Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Sorry this video is a little bit late. I was reading up until like 1:30 on Sunday, 1:30 in the morning, and then I meant to film this last night, Monday night, but I fell asleep and forgot. So it's Tuesday night. Sorry about the poor lighting. The sun set several hours ago. I just got home from work. So I wanted to talk to you about the wrap-up of the BookTubeAthon for December. As I suspected, did not finish all 3 books. I also did not actually read the 3 books that I said I was going to read at the start, so let me walk you through it. So first of all, Friday I read Eve, which I already told you guys about. Really was not very memorable. It was the book with red and green on the cover. I've pretty much already forgotten most of it. Didn't really stick. So wasn't particularly objectionable, but not particularly memorable either. That was book 1. So then on Saturday, I had a friend come over and we were gonna go see the new Hobbit movie. And then, so there was this book series that she's been telling me about for weeks, and she's been telling me that I needed to read it, and I was saying that I would love to read it, but that since I didn't actually have it, and I don't work at a bookstore anymore, so I don't buy things as easily or as quickly, I didn't particularly want to spend money on it, or, you know, have the time to go spend money to go get it. So she gave it to me, which meant that it now counted for category 3 of a book that someone gave it to you. And it's got freaking robo-dragons in it, okay? It's got magical, alchemical, sassy robo-dragons that sing dirty drinking songs. This book was awesome! Let's back up. I started to read Wither, which is the second book that I was gonna do, the book that I've been meaning to get to all year. And I got most of the way through it. Yeah, I got more than halfway, but I fell asleep reading it Saturday night and then tried to read it Sunday morning and just wasn't really that into it either. It was probably more interesting than Eve. I think I'll still finish it, but I didn't get very far, and I don't know that it was good enough that I'll go back to it now that I've stopped reading it. I might. We'll see. But, you know, it's kind of interesting. It was more interesting than Eve. The idea is that since men die at age 25 and women die at age 20, that they're still trying to breed to keep the population up, but there's also factions that are saying that humanity should just die out, and they're trying to find a cure to this virus that kills the, you know, the populations at this young age, and kind of interesting, kind of not. Anyway, I'm not a fan of forced breeding, so let's talk about Have Mercy, because oh my god. So this book is adult fantasy. I don't understand how I didn't hear about this series before. Like, either, I can only think of 2 things. It's either that no one else has read it, which is upsetting and terrible, or 2, that everyone that has read it thought that I'd already read it, because this book was basically written for me. Like, it's amazing. So Have Mercy has 4 point of view characters, but sort of 2 main storylines, and so it's got 2 point of view characters per storyline. The first storyline that we're introduced to is the magician Royston, who is basically exiled to his country home because of an indiscretion with a prince of another country. Basically they weren't exactly caught together, but then the prince started like spreading stories about how he'd seduced him and everything. So he gets exiled to his country home. He sort of falls into this deep depression, and he ends up sort of getting pulled out of it by this young tutor for his niece and nephew, because he's living with his brother. And they're like super sweet, super cute, just like this ball of joy. They have this like mutual pining that just slowly escalates and then like exponentially escalates, and so it's just kind of amazing. And then the other story is the one about the Dragon Core, and you don't necessarily realize, unless you're either looking at the cover or have been told for weeks by your best friend who won't stop shouting about it, that these dragons are not normal dragons. These dragons were built by the alchemists. They're robotic dragons, and they are amazing. So Have Mercy is the name of the dragon of one of the point of view characters. His name is Rook, and basically the thing about the Dragon Core is this country has been at war for centuries, and the Dragon Core have been told that they are like the country's only hope, and so they've been raised to believe in themselves as like the country's greatest hope, and basically they act exactly like you would expect a group of 20-something boys who've been told that the fate of the world is riding on them to act. They are terrible. So the main character, Rook, is one of the most awful characters I've ever read. He's a complete asshole. And so he causes an incident by basically harassing a dignitary's wife. And so as punishment, they are sent basically a manners coach who is the last point of view character, and he's basically a grad student who's working on like a psychology dissertation or a sociology dissertation. I wasn't 100% sure, but anyway, he's basically just sent in like a lamb thrown to slaughter, and you're just like, this is gonna go so well! And their relationship is amazing. Like, I felt so bad for Tom. And Rook was a complete asshole, but basically the whole thing was amazing. Anyway, the two plot lines end up converging because there's a war on, basically. But really, I need the whole series. I need everyone else to read this series. Have Mercy, the actual character, is amazing. She is incredibly foul-mouthed. She sings dirty drinking songs. Did I mention that she's a robo-dragon? Anyway, these are the 3 books that I attempted. I finished Eve. I finished Have Mercy, but at 1:30 in the morning, so it was technically Monday, so I don't know if it still counts. And then I got most of the way through Wither. Didn't quite finish it. But I think I did pretty good, actually, for one weekend when I had other stuff to do. I don't know. I don't think that was too bad. The authors, by the way, of Have Mercy are Jada Jones and Daniel Bennett. It was co-written. It's got 2 authors, so the whole series does. There's only 4 books. I think the series is finished, or at least it's like de facto finished, since it's been 3 years since there's been a book come out, so. Oh yeah, and then one more thing that I keep sort of forgetting to mention. The friend that lent me the Have Mercy book actually is my co-host on a book-related podcast that we've been running for a couple years. I think the first episode of the new season is coming out on Christmas, and I think she actually talks about Have Mercy. That was sort of her first pitch of the series to me, where I sort of realized with dawning horror that I was going to have to read it. So if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, we just sort of riff on stuff that we've been reading. We do a lot of stuff like of books that have been turned into movies, that kind of thing. It's just sort of us chatting, but you can hear more about the series and stuff, so I'll put the links down below. I always put the link, but I always forget to mention that it's there. So I guess that's gonna be it for today. I guess that's my wrap up for the December 2014 BookTubeAthon. It was kind of fun. I think I'll probably do the one in July this coming year, so I guess stay tuned for that. I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!